back to another episode of the Provocative Podcast. So today's episode is going to be a lot of fun, so we'll go right into it. So first of the little intro that I usually give you guys, we'll talk about the book. So as you guys know, I was reading Behind Closed Doors by B.A. Paris with my ladies, and we finished it, we talked about it, and to be honest, we all kind of felt the same way. I think one or two of us actually did enjoy the book. I just did not. I told you guys that this book made me feel super anxious. The main character, she's really helpless in this book, and I don't know, there's something about helplessness that I just like gives me really bad anxiety, and just like everything she went through was just like, I don't know. I didn't enjoy this book. It was very different from Verity, where I feel like Verity was suspense. Like, it was just a whole different theme. So if you want to read it, but I don't recommend it. But we finished it. We haven't decided what our next book read is, but we decided we wanted a love story or something a little bit more happy, because this one was just like way too depressing. So I'll keep you guys updated on what book we choose next, so that if you guys want to follow along and read along, you guys can do so. And then lastly, I threw Brittany. As you guys know, Brittany was the one that she's not my assistant. She helps me with the podcast. She's a good friend of mine. And then she was on the first or second episode, when we talked about mental health. And so my friends and I threw her a surprise birthday party, Office themed. So if you guys have watched The Office, if you guys remember the episode where Jim and Dwight forget Kelly's birthday, and so they throw her a last minute birthday party, and they have like gray and black and brown balloons, and they're like half inflated. They have like a sign that says it's your birthday. They have the cake with like a little chiclet to represent the pillow. Like, I did the whole thing. We did the whole thing. It was all Office theme, like Kelly's party theme. I even like misspelled her name on the cake. It was a lot of fun. And then we drank a little bit. We ate a little bit of edibles, and then we just played some games, and it was a lot of fun. So, she ended up having a blast for her birthday, and we had a really, really good weekend. And then Sunday, she's been like chill. So that's my week so far. Oh, if you guys want to know, I fucked up my car. Yeah, let me give you guys a little update on that. I don't know what happened. Saturday on my way to spin, a Tesla cut me off, and I was like in my head. And granted, guys, my house from my spin class is like near each other, so it wasn't a long drive. Well, I'm pulling into the parking lot, and I realized that like the parking lot's kind of empty for a Saturday, and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I wonder if Elizabeth canceled their class, but we would have gotten an email. So as I'm parking, I'm pulling in, and there's actually spots right in front of Cycle Bar, which is like, there's like different, it's like a shopping center, right? So I pull up into like the very front, and then next thing you know, I'm on the curb, inches away from hitting the actual building. Like my car's like about to like run into the glass of Cycle Bar, and I turned my steering wheel, and I managed to like stop in time to not hit anything else. And then my instinct is like back up, and I backed up, and then like I checked my car. I really thought my car was gonna be like fucked up. Like, I really was like, oh my God, my car's gonna be messed up. And I got out of my car, and thankfully, as of what we know right now, it was just the tire. So we had to get a tow company and everything. But guys, Saturday was like a nightmare in that sense. I was more concerned about my mental health than I was about the car, because I don't know what my mind or what I was going through at that time to like do that. I told Chris, I was like, I feel like this is our karma for watching all these fail videos on YouTube. Like, I'm going to be one of those fail videos now. Like, the people that you look at on YouTube, you're like, oh my God, that person was an idiot. How did they do that? That was me, but I have no idea how I did that. Supposedly it's just the tire. So we'll get the car hopefully back on Friday. But yeah, guys, I don't know if it's just the anxiety or what, but that happened to me. So, if shit's happened to you, it happens to everyone. When it rains, it pours. So it's been pouring for me a little bit the last 2 weeks, but it's okay. Hopefully that was like the last of it. But yeah, guys, there is a catch up from my week. Other than that, my week's been going pretty great. So that's good. Anyways, let's get into today's episode. So today we have a guest. Thankfully, you guys know that I love doing them by myself, but I love having guests. So my guest today is a good friend of mine, Gabby Tongol. Say hello, Gabby.
Hello.
So Gabby's visiting from Canada. She works with Buff Bunny, and she's one of their athletes. So she came into town to do some content for them. And yeah, I got to spend a little bit of time with her. She's been with me for the last 2 days. So it's been a lot of fun having her here.
Yes, it's been long overdue. It's been like 3 years since we hung out in person.
3 years. Yeah. So I met Gabby 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then you came, the last time I've seen you, it was like pre-COVID.
Yeah.
So it's been like a year and a half. It's been a long time.
No, literally, it's been 3 years. 2019 was the last time I was here.
2019 was the last time you were here too? When you stayed at my apartment?
No, so we actually know each other longer than that, I think.
Okay.
Like, I want to say maybe late 2018 is when we met each other and stuff.
We met each other in the middle of 2018, correct?
Yeah, and then we got closer over time. Then 2019 is when we saw each other quite often. Like, we saw each other literally this time in 2019, and then we saw each other in December of 2019. But we haven't seen each other since then.
Oh my gosh, it has been a long
Literally
time.
right before the world like shut down.
Yeah. Dang, it's been a long time. But anyways, Gabby, do you want to tell people what you do for a living?
Yeah, so I own a virtual assisting and marketing agency called Assist Her Agency, where we cater to a lot of female entrepreneurs, mixture of online coaches, and just like female boss babes, basically. So it's really nice that I get to be in that kind of industry. I have a lot of experience with being a content creator over the last few years. I started on Instagram like back in 2013. So I've definitely been on social media for a hot minute, just seeing it all change. So then I turned it into basically my career. So now we are an agency, a team of 7 altogether. So that's really cool. Thank you. So it's really cool that I get to do that. Like, you know, a lot of people think I like just do the content creating with Buff Bunny collection and stuff, but it's like, it's actually like a side thing and like a fun thing. So it's really nice that like I have something that's like my own, you know, like it's not dependent on salaries or commissions. Like it's just my own. Granted, there's a lot more responsibility having like a full team now.
Yeah.
But it's been really fun, and yeah, I love doing it. I've been doing it for now like 6 years.
Yeah.
Before I was by myself, and just as of 2021 was when we turned more into like a team. So yeah, that's what I do full time. And then like Jazzy said, I do Buff Bunny collection kind of like more on the side.
Guys, so if you need any help with any social media, hit Gabby up. If like you're starting and you have all these questions, because you have to understand, I think sometimes girls like DM people with bigger following and they expect like us, like they'll be like, hey, how did you grow your social media? And it's not just one thing. It's like so much that goes into growing your social media. So I would highly recommend having or hiring someone like Gabby and their team to help you, because that way you actually have someone who's going to be guiding you along the way. We were just talking yesterday about all the things I need to do. I need to pay for your services, but I'll give you, I bought her some Chick-fil-A. So I'm like, I'm paying you with Chick-fil-A, because they don't have Chick-fil-A in Canada, right? I would die if I didn't have Chick-fil-A. But so your services are great. I love how you're always on top of everything. You know everything. If I ever have like a question with anything, she's like, you need to do this, you need to do that. I learned so much yesterday in the car, guys. So this is why I'm telling you that if you have questions about growing your social media, hit Gabby up, because she will definitely help you out. But the main reason I wanted you to come on today is because Gabby, like myself, has been with her significant other for 10 years now. His name is also Chris.
Yes, with a K though.
Oh, with a K, yes.
Yeah, with a K.
So I just wanted her to come on so we could talk about, you know, our experiences being with someone for, 10 plus years, being still young and how that's affected our lives and stuff like that. So I have a few questions for her, and then we'll kind of just like go into it and just kind of have like a conversation about it. So right now, with you being with, I guess like right now you've been with Chris for 10 years. What is like, I guess you would say the hardest thing that you guys have to deal with now?
I think just the pressure of getting married, the pressure of moving in together. Yes, I know we've been together for so long and we still don't live together. And I think just people like, wanting to know what's next, because, 10 years is a long time to be together.
Right.
But I think what people forget is like, we started when we were 16.
Yeah.
We have also changed so much over the years as like individuals and together. So I think that actually is like another challenge that we face is like how much we've changed over the couple years.
Yeah.
I would say like probably in our first years of dating, like not a lot changed then because we were still pretty young. But as we got into like our 20s and like really trying to figure our stuff out, I think that has been like really challenging, is because you're like, you have been with someone you've been with since, 16 or whatever, and you think that that's how you're going to be for like the whole time.
Yeah.
But then you change so much, like what you want, what's important to you, how you are, and all that stuff. And I think that we had to normalize that it's okay that we change.
Yeah,
and we kind of like just have to decide like, do we want to change together, or, you know, is this our time?
Yeah.
So there's definitely have been like conversations like that, but I think the biggest one right now is like, when are you guys getting married? When are you guys moving in? So I think that's the biggest thing. And, you know, being Filipino, the culture is very different. Like, our families want us to stay with them for like ever.
Yeah.
So it's really not like a high priority to us, where I can see how it's like a big deal to people on the outside.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the biggest thing. And also just like finding a way to keep things exciting.
Yeah.
Just because like being together for that long, you know each other like inside and out. Well, so you think.
Yeah.
And you know, obviously things come up and stuff like that. But I think like, you see, especially like, I don't know about you, but like a lot of our friends are like newly dating or like, you know, still in that honeymoon phase and like haven't been through it all just yet. Or they're married, like newly married or whatever. And I think like just seeing how young that love is and like how exciting it is, you kind of feel that pressure like, shit, am I doing this okay? Like, is my relationship good?
Yeah.
So I think those are like some of the biggest obstacles that we've had over the last couple years.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, I think same for us. I think, you know, first of all, like we're married, so we don't get the pressure. We get more of the pressure of, when are you guys having kids?
Right.
Like, when are you guys having kids? When are you having kids? Like, it's an all the time kind of thing. But no, I get you. Like, I feel like, you know, with us, we were together when I was 15, he was 17. So it's, you know, you're like, oh, I'm always going to be the same person, but you're not.
No.
Like, you're so I am so different. I was actually just thinking about this last week. Like, I'm so different now than I was when I was 15, 16. Thankfully, you know, we've grown together. There had been a point like 2-3 years ago where I feel like we were kind of drifting apart a little bit, growing apart. And we just had to like really sit down and be like, hey, you know, I want to grow, I want to do this. And he was like, well, I want to grow and I want to do this. And we just kind of had to like sit down and evaluate our relationship, be like, okay, are we going in the same direction? So if we're going in the same direction, it'll work out. But if we both want different things, it's not going to work out. And thankfully, you know, we did want the same thing. And that's when he actually quit his job at Nissan and worked with me.
I actually remember that. That was the last time what you were doing last time.
We were going through, like, he was working so much at Nissan and I was seeing him like 2 hours a day. And then I was working full time, like as an entrepreneur. So it was really hard to like, and we were living together. So it was really hard for us to see each other. And at one point, like, I was just like, you know, this is not working out. I don't feel like we're going on the same path. And I was like, I think we need to just risk it and you quit your job. Because, I mean, it was scary. It was when we first moved here. Yeah. So I was like, you know, my income wasn't always stable every month. And his at least was a little bit. You know, he had a job, like a 9-to-5 job, basically. Right. But I was like, no, I think, you know what, let's risk it. You quit. Let's really commit to our business full time, to Jazzy Fit and the training and everything full time. And thankfully it played out. I mean, thankfully it paid out. Like we really focused in on doing that, and you know, we were like, okay, this is the only option. We're going to make it grow, and we made it grow. But it is hard. Like, I think more than anything is when you're with someone for so long is if you guys don't communicate about where you want to go and what your values are and what you think is important in your life, you can drift apart.
No, communication is probably like the biggest thing that we've definitely learned over the years, is that like you have to be very vocal about how you feel and what you want, because like no one's a mind reader, right? And I think we all think like, you know, we all want the same things and like we're on the same page all the time, but like it's okay if you're not. And I think that's the biggest thing, is like just normalizing that it's okay if things aren't okay. You know, and just like having those tough conversations are needed in a long-term relationship, especially when like it's just the first 10 years. Like, you want to be together for a lifetime, like you're gonna have a lot of these hard conversations. And I think people need to like just get a grasp of that it's fun. And I feel like not a lot of people talk about it, right? Like people think like, we've been together since high school, blah blah blah, like we're high school sweethearts, like it's all good. And like, you know, when people see us at social outings and stuff, they're like, wow, like you guys are like some of the only couples like still together. So I think that's the biggest thing, is just normalizing that those kind of tough conversations, and you know, those times where like you almost do break up, like do happen. Like, those big fights. And like that's the thing with us too, like we don't fight often, but when we do, it's like intense.
Same. So, I think it's the same with us.
So it's like, oh my gosh,
like twice a year, but when we fight, it's like,
it's bad.
I'm like, oh, okay, fuck, like we need to really, it takes like a few days for us to like really talk and stuff. But no, I completely agree with that. I think normalizing that it's normal to have problems and it's normal to feel a certain way, and not to always agree with your significant other.
Like challenge each other.
Like what I meant by like growing is like you will grow apart if you both don't want to grow, because sometimes what can happen is like one person can just be comfortable in their life and the other person will like want to completely like succeed and work on their success and work on their work and stuff. And if one person's not working on that, then I see that there's like, that's where you can drift apart.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's normal to have issues, and I think it's normal to not always agree on everything, and it's okay if you and your significant other don't agree on everything, but at least you have to agree on the big parts. You know what I mean? And the communication is the biggest thing, right? Like, because like you said, you can think that your partner is feeling the same way, but they're not. So making sure you're vocal about how you feel is super duper important. But then how we just talked about how like for us too, one of the biggest things that I struggle, like what you said is, communication, like as far as like, when we go to dinner, like it's hard to conversate with someone you've been with for 10 years because, or for me it's 12 because mostly everything about them. And for me and Chris, like we work together, so nothing new or exciting happens. So literally our best conversations are after the gym because I'm like, oh, like how was your workout? He's like, it was good. And like, okay, mine was good. My booty pump was good. Or oh, my booty pump wasn't there. I'm like, what did you and the boys talk about? And some days he'll have some like cheese meant for me. Some days he'll be like, oh no, we didn't talk about anything. And I'm like, oh damn, this car ride's gonna be real quiet then. But I mean, it's like, when you compare it to someone else, it can really bring you down because you're like you said, well, they're fresh in their relationship and they're talking and like, I'm just not talking and like, is something wrong with the relationship? And not necessarily, like sometimes you like, especially if you work together with the person, you don't have a lot to talk about. You know what I mean? But I think, I know that's normal, and you can't, if you were to break up with that person and then start fresh, it's going to be the same thing.
Oh yeah. Cause you guys haven't talked to each other in so long. Right. And for us, it's different, Chris and I, cause we don't work together. Yeah. So I think that's kind of cool that you and I can kind of contrast on that. Like he also is an entrepreneur, but he has a like restaurant business. So very different from what I do, both on the content creation side and the agency. So sometimes even like what happens in each other's day, like isn't exciting to the other or whatever. Yeah. But I think it's important to just show some sort of interest still. You might literally give zero shit about what's going on, but I think it's very important that you still show interest in your partner and what's important to them. And like, what's a struggle for them? Like just let them like talk it out with you or whatever that might be and just be there. And I think that's an important thing for like couples to remember too, is that you might not be interested in the same things. You might not be able to work together on the same things or whatever, but just be supportive and just show some sort of interest. And I think also too, something that Chris and I have really dove into over the last few years is like understanding each other's love languages. Mine have changed so much since like day one. Where his has kind of stayed the same. So we kind of had to like re-talk about that. It's like, what's important to you? And so if, quality time is important to you, but for me, it's like, I'm okay with like the quality time. I need to know that and just be more aware of it so I can change it. For me, it was like, words of affirmation for me. So, but like that wasn't a big thing for me before. So me not vocalizing that to him, it like wasn't changing, and then I get frustrated. So I think like just always having, I guess, touch points with your partner is really important. And like we're the same. Whereas like some car rides, we're literally talking about nothing. Sometimes like I'll just be silly and like just make something out of the quiet conversation. Like I think that's kind of where it is. And like you said, it's normal. People do it all the time. And I think if you like force a conversation, then it's awkward. It's more awkward. Right?
Well, I mean, you don't want to like force a conversation. Sometimes, like I'm the same way. We'll goof around about certain things, but like I wouldn't say you can't really force a conversation because then it's just like awkward. But I think what you said is really important. Like for me too, like it's important for each partner to, even though they don't really care about the other person's hobbies or whatever, or aren't interested, not that they don't care, aren't interested, you should still make an effort for them. Like for me, like I do my best to make an effort for Chris when it comes to like cars and stuff. I have no fucking knowledge in cars, and to be honest, like till this day, sometimes I ask him the same damn questions, but I just forget because it's not super interesting to me. But I want him to feel like I care about what he's interested in.
Well, I think what's cool is you see how fired up they get, right?
Yeah, I love it.
When you ask them about their stuff, even though you have no idea what you're talking about, you're like, wow, I just love how much in love you are with like talking about it. Like it makes me happy. So I think that's what's important is that like, girls, if you don't give a shit about what your guys are interested in or what they're doing, still ask because it makes them feel, and it's the same for us. Like when Chris says like, what makeup did you buy today? Like that makes me so excited. So I can just tell you, and he's probably like, I don't give a shit. But like, it's just, it's making your partner happy in a way in the smallest action, I
Right.
guess.
Yeah. No, and I think that's so important because, we get so caught up in ourselves and like what's like, oh, me. You didn't ask me about me, but you like, you have to sit back and like, okay, are you interested in them? Have you made the effort for them?
Yeah.
So I try to too, like, yeah, like I said, I love seeing him talk about it. Sometimes I'm like picturing like all these parts in my head. I'm like, I think this looks like this. I think this looks like this. But I do my best. And I think what you said is actually really true about love language. Like, it's very important to know your significant other's love language and to know your own.
Yeah.
But I didn't realize that I feel like mine did change too because when we actually just talked about our love language the other day, I feel like when we first started dating, I really liked touch. And now I'm not so much of a touch person. He's touch. So I make an effort to touch him. Like, not that I'm like in my head, like, okay, I gotta touch him 5 times a day. But anytime I'm near him, I make the effort to touch him, to hug him because I know that that's what he likes. And then I think with time, I've actually enjoyed it too.
Yeah.
For me, it's like words of affirmation and acts of service. And, something that my therapist just said with me is like, for me, I didn't realize that like words of affirmation meant different coming from Chris than they did like from other people. Like, I'm on social media all the time. So I get, oh, you're so pretty. Oh, this, oh, this. So I need different sort of words of affirmation from Chris than physical.
Right.
Because I get that all the time, right? So just learning what your love language is and then expressing that to your partner is so important so that you guys can get along and you do feel loved by each other, right?
Yeah.
Because not everyone loves the same way.
Yeah.
So that you made a really, really good point. Okay, so next question. Have you felt like, or have you and Chris felt like you are missing out or craving something different?
We've talked about like, oh, we've never been with this person or we've never done this or like, we experienced all these things together, but like we've never actually experienced it with other people.
Yeah.
And do we feel like we're missing out? I think, yeah, sometimes you do. You're like, there's always that coulda, shoulda, woulda thing, right?
Right.
You're always thinking about like what it could happen. But, at the end of the day, yeah, it's a thought that comes up, but it's not enough of an interest for us to like go and break up and do it. You know what I mean? Like, we're like to each their own. If couples do that, like good for you guys and stuff. But for us, it was never something that we wanted to do like that. I think whenever we do kind of feel those types of ways, like either together or separately, we kind of remember like everything we have been through and how it's really curated us to be who we are today.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of moments in my life I wouldn't have done that or experienced some of those things if it weren't for him.
Right.
Like I wouldn't have had the courage to start my own business if it weren't for him.
Yeah.
So there's little things like that. But yeah, I think I'll die probably wondering certain things.
Yeah.
But it's fine. Like,
it's completely normal. I
Yeah.
think you feel so guilty because I remember when I first started thinking about, or even like remotely thought another guy was attractive, I was like, oh my God, guys, I'm going to hell. And my friends are like, no, that's completely normal,
Yeah.
Jazmin. As long as you don't act on it, like it's completely normal to, find another guy attractive and like wonder if you're missing out. And I do think like, especially because we're so young, you do feel like, at
we get it a
points-
lot, right? People are like, you're so young. Are you sure you still want to be in this relationship?
Yeah.
Like back then, right?
Yeah.
Like, obviously now we're older, it's different. But back then, like people would always be like, oh, are you sure you want to be in a committed relationship this young? And
Yeah.
it's like, that's all I've ever known.
Yeah.
Like, my previous relationship before Chris was 2 years.
Okay.
So I've always been in a long-term relationship, but yeah.
No, I mean, it's hard. And then especially like for me, I feel like it's hard when you are in the career that we're in. We're always traveling. Now with COVID, that slowed it down, but you're traveling and there's everyone around you single partying.
Yeah.
Like, then you're like, okay, fuck, I'm missing, I'm missing out. And then you're like, well, when you really have to sit down and think about it, you're like, okay, what am I missing out on? Like,
That's a good point.
Just the fucking, like, honestly, like just being able to have sex with whoever you want. Is that worth me losing my relationship over it? Am I going to be happier? Not necessarily like being a hoe, but like being able to do whatever I want. Is that going to make me happier than being in my relationship? Because at the end of the day, the grass isn't always greener on the other side.
Yeah.
Being together with someone in a committed relationship, there's hard moments. Being single, there's fucking hard moments.
A lot of hard moments.
You have to deal with loneliness. There's a lot of things that you have to deal with when you're single. So it's like the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and you have to think about, okay, is this what if worth it, right?
I like how you said that. I really like how you put that because, I think a lot of people, they see all the exciting things that all these single people are doing, just flirting and, hooking up or whatever that might be. But yeah, I think you have to think like, is that really worth giving up what you have already for that? Like, and I mean, I think everyone's different. Like some people might love the single life, like, and that's totally okay too. But I think when people pose the question to us who have been in long-term relationships, it's like, well, it wouldn't be worth it for me to go and experiment all that stuff.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, I had my whore days when I was like 14, 15, not gonna lie.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
like kind of did that when I was younger, but now I nothing seems tempting enough for me to want to throw away what I have.
Yeah,
you know?
well, that's good. I mean, but I just, we talked about it, and I wanted to like normalize it, that it's normal to have those feelings, guys.
We're humans.
Yeah, and
we're
to be
humans.
like,
everyone's attracted. Like, frick,
Yeah.
I even see ladies, and I'm like, wow, they're so pretty. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's fine to feel that way. And I think again, like just going back to whole normalizing certain feelings, certain thoughts, like it's okay. And like, like your girlfriend say, like as long as you're not acting on it or like even like emotionally texting or whatever, like that's a different story, obviously. But like, just finding someone attractive is like, sure.
Yeah. And I mean, this is not by all means, we're not saying like be complacent in your relationship. If your relationship is not working out, then, do what you got to do, babes.
Exactly.
But we're saying like all relationships are tough. Like, if you are willing to fight for your relationship, then, it's worth it. But, everyone has fears. Like for me, one of my biggest fears, and I think it was until recently that I felt like more at ease, was that like I was always so fearful that I'm like, oh my God, I'm so young and I'm married and I'm missing out. What if the what ifs will fucking kill you? Like, I kid you not. Like if you start focusing on the what ifs, like you will drive yourself insane. And I feel like that's what I was doing, because I was like, what if, I'm like at my prime right now? Like, to be honest, I feel like I'm at my prime right now.
Oh, 100%.
I'm at my prime. I'm like, what if like 10 years down the road in my mid 30s, Chris finds some other hot, like young girl, leaves me for this girl. Then I'm in my mid 30s, early 40s, single. What am I gonna do? Like, I was like thinking about that. I'm like, am I missing out on life? And then I was like, no, like, why the hell are you thinking like that? At the end of the day, if that in a rare case does happen, you lived an amazing life with him. You enjoyed your 20s. You did what you wanted to do. Like, you can't think about the what ifs and all these negative things, because you will drive yourself insane. Oh, yeah. So
100%.
Anyways, that was one of my biggest fears, guys. So I just wanted to make that like, it's normal for you to feel that way. But if you focus on the what ifs, it's not a nice road.
Don't waste your energy on the what ifs. No, is what she's saying.
And then I put down, do you feel the pressure to get married? I know that you answered that a little bit.
Yeah, definitely a little bit, especially now that we're getting older, like, closer to our 30s. I'm 26, Chris is 27. He's 28. So like there's definitely that pressure. But I don't know, I just feel like there's still so much that we want to do that like to spend that energy and time planning a wedding right now would not be it. Yeah. I know, especially that it's 10 years. People are like, hello, like it's 10 years. Like, where's your ring? Blah, blah, blah. And I tease Chris about it all the time. But honestly, it's not like high on my priority right now. Like we've had the conversation. Like obviously we're together for 10 years. Like we're committed to each other and stuff like that. And there's still so much that we need to do. Like, moving in together, like if I were to be engaged, like I'd like to move together. But like I'm focusing on like taking care of my family right now and stuff like that. And so, there's pressure, but I think I've just learned to just kind of ignore it. And, I think at the end of the day, what's important is like, what does Chris and I want? Yeah. More than anything. And like, everyone can think what they want. Everyone can, expect what they want. But at the end of the day, it's our relationship.
Yeah. And it's important to realize that, because the outside noise can be distracting, and then it
gets in your head.
It gets in your head, and then you start being upset, and you're like, why? If I am happy with my significant other, that's all that matters. And I mean, Chris and I have had to do that with a lot of things in our life. Like it's, as long as him and I are happy and we know what we want, that's all that matters, because there's always going to be outside noise. And it's like what we talked about the other day, like people aren't getting married till they're like their mid 30s. So
and it's expensive.
Yeah. And the thing is, like, you just feel pressure because you've been with him for a long quote unquote time. 10 years, but it's when you were 16. Yeah. If that was someone like, okay, if you were in your 30s and you've been with someone for 10 years, then the pressure to get married would be a little bit more different. But it's like, I think a lot of people need to understand that, like, it's like you're still in your, not early 20s, but mid 20s. Like, you still have plenty of time to get married, to have your house, to have your wedding. Like, I think with our age, we just are so like, we started out young being like go-getters, that we like expect, to be more successful at a younger age. And that's normal. But we have to also take a step back and be like, well, I'm still young as hell. Like, people don't have their life figured out till like their mid 30s. So I'm already ahead of most of the population. So that's good that you don't let it affect you. All right, last question, the most interesting question. Do you and Chris play with sex toys, and have you guys talked about introducing something different?
So it's funny you bring that up, because literally this is the same topic of conversation with my other group of girlfriends that I was in LA with. They asked me, and when I said no, so I've never played with a sex toy, I don't know about Chris. I actually have never asked if he has.
Yeah.
But I personally have not. Obviously, we haven't done it like when we're having sex. So yeah, no. But yeah, my girlfriends were like, "What? Like, no way!" Like, they're so shocked. And I think for me, I'm like, "What are you talking about? Like, that's a thing."
Yeah.
So now I've actually started to think like, "Am I like missing something? Am I supposed to be?" And like now I'm like curious.
Yeah.
I bring it up to Chris. Obviously, he's like, "What the fuck? I leave you with your girls for a week, and now all of a sudden you're talking about sex toys?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And like same with porn. We've never watched porn together.
Okay.
But apparently a lot of couples do.
Okay.
And I'm like, not me. I've never even watched porn by myself.
You never watched porn by yourself? Ever? Are you serious? Okay, guys, I'm not as shocked about the toy because I brought it up to her yesterday.
Yeah.
And I was like in complete shock. So I will go into that right now. But you've never watched porn? Ever?
Like I've seen a clip of it because of like a show I'm watching or whatever, but I've never logged on to watch it. I've never purchased it. I've never, nothing.
No.
And I've never like seen Chris do it.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you think he watches porn?
I've asked him openly, like, do you still watch it or anything? Like, not that I care.
Yeah.
He said no.
Okay.
So, like, yeah, no, it's funny that, like, you bring this up. And then, like I said, with the other group of girls I was with, we were talking about it. And now I'm like, maybe we should. Like, just to, like, try it out and stuff like that. But I'm definitely not against it.
Yeah.
I'm open to it. I would just, like, I think to me, it's just, like, a whole new world. And, like, you know me, like, I know a lot and stuff like that. But I feel like I'm, like, such a, like, new kid on the block when it comes to, like, this stuff.
Okay.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, I'm only 26 and, like, I don't know a lot of things when it comes to like sex and everything like that, right? Like I feel like that's still very new to myself and Chris. Like we have great sex, don't get me wrong, but like just changing things up, I guess, isn't something that we do often.
Okay.
So yeah, no, it's been something that I'm like thinking about more often.
Well, I mean, the porn thing you don't have to do. I mean, Chris and I think we've watched porn together like 2 or 3 times because it is a little awkward and like, not that I'm like, oh, is he focused on her and not focused on me? It's just like sometimes we'll. Like if we, I don't know, it's been like rare occasions where like we'll put it on, we'll get turned on, and then we'll like turn it off. I personally don't watch porn too often. I'll watch porn maybe like twice a year, and the only reason I watch porn is because I want to know if there's any new techniques.
Okay, that's what the girls are saying. They said it gives you good ideas.
It gives you really good ideas for like, oh shit, like damn, she gave the blowjob this way, or she like arched this way, and then Chris will come home and be like, what did you do? He's like, damn, where did you learn this? I'm like, nowhere.
It came to my mind.
It just came to my mind. And I'm like, no, I just learned it today. So that's why I watch porn personally. I don't really watch it to masturbate. I don't really get, I don't know. Porn doesn't do it for me. But yeah, so you don't have to watch it together or even alone if you don't really feel like it. But introducing toys is, I just think it's fun. Like for me, I was shocked yesterday that you said that you can fully have an orgasm and like chilling orgasms without a toy.
Yes, and like Osro back and everything like that. Like I'm good.
That is so crazy to me. Like I mean, because I was telling Gabby that like 70% of women can't. They need clit stimulation or they need a toy or any kind of like, you know, they need that clit stimulation to be able to fully have like, and I can orgasm without it, but my orgasms with it are like
10 times.
Like it's like my soul left my body kind of orgasms and just like. Yeah, so it's crazy. I think it's amazing. Don't think that it's weird that you can do it.
That's good for me that I don't need it. But at the same time, I'm like,
I wonder
what would happen if I did?
Yeah.
So, I mean, if we come back like 6 months later and, you know, I'm like visiting you, I'll update you.
Yeah, please update me. Because Brenda was on here, my friend, and she hadn't had any toys. And then she told Justin, her boyfriend, and he got her like, literally, she sent me a picture, like 6 new toys. She's like, oh my God, we spent the whole weekend just having sex with all these toys. It was so much fun. And she just had a great time.
I feel like I'm going to have to watch tutorials and shit, though, if I get any.
I mean, you can, but it's just literally like whatever feels good. And with you and your partner, whatever feels good.
Well, it's our anniversary in May, so you never know.
Okay. But you also made a comment yesterday that you were saying that it's true, the myth or whatever of Asian.
Oh, okay. So I don't know if you guys have heard this before, but like there's like, not a rumor, but it's like a saying that like Asian girls have tight pussies. Yeah. And so again, with the group of girls I was with, they're like, we have to ask. They were drunk. Okay. So I think that's what built the courage for them to ask me. They're like, is it true? And for me, it's true. Like, I know, you know, sometimes girls get like pretty loose, like after you have sex for like a long time or like 2 days consecutively or whatever. But like for me, I'm like the exact same the next day.
Yeah. So, no, I'm just, well, I hadn't heard about that. And I hadn't heard about, this is the first time I'm hearing about being loose. I don't know. I mean, Chris can attest to this, right, babe? That I feel like he's always like, your pussy's tight as hell. So like,
it's confusing almost. It's like, what?
Like I think for me, maybe I think maybe, you know, like working out, like I told you, helps with, you know, keeping my pussy tight. But like, he's always like, your pussy's the same tightness, if not tighter some days. So it's like, I don't think I ever, it's crazy that you know, we've been together for 12 years, had sex for 12 years. So it's like, he's like, your pussy's still as tight. And I think maybe like that might change depending on like,
as you get older and stuff maybe.
Or if you have kids or if you do have like, you know, multiple different size sex partners, I guess. I don't know. Right. That's, you know, maybe that could be it too.
We wouldn't know. We've been in the same one for 10, 12
same
years.
dick, different day, baby. So,
exactly. So we don't really know, but
no, I didn't. When you told me that yesterday, I didn't know that was like a thing. So is it like, suppose it's just like Asians in general?
It's just a saying that Asians do. And even like, it's even so bad that sometimes like I have to stop because it hurts.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder if it's got to be something.
Something about the Asians, man. I don't know.
Oh my gosh, I'd never heard of that. That's the first time I'm hearing about this, guys. But okay, all right. So that's all the questions I had for you. Is there anything else that you feel like, you know, you want to give input on relationships or anything like that?
Honestly, like I said in the beginning, and I think I just really want to emphasize that for every couple, is just don't be afraid to communicate. Don't be afraid to want what you want.
Yeah.
Every way you feel is validated. And, you know, the right partner will either be understanding, and obviously you guys will accommodate one another, like kind of meet in the middle. But like, don't dim your light for someone else, I think is the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And don't think that just because you are in a long-term relationship too, that you have to stay.
That you have to stay.
Like, you're not locked in or anything like that. Right. So I think that's one thing that people have to remember, but also, it's okay if you're in a long relationship, you guys aren't ready to get married or whatever. Don't let, like you said, the outside noise, like, you know, really impact you, because at the end of the day, it's you and your partner who are in the relationship, not everybody else. Yeah. So I think that's the biggest things that I've learned over the years, and just really be more. I'm a very observant person, so I'm very, very attentive as to when people say things and stuff like that. Same. So I think being very just like listening instead of thinking about how you're going to react. Yeah. That's the one thing that has changed Chris and I when we communicate. I'm no longer like, how am I going to reply to him? How am I going to react to this? It's like, I need to fully listen to what he's saying, and then I think about what I say. Yeah. Because I think a lot of people listen to react instead of listening to like actually listen and understand the person. Right.
I agree. I completely agree with that.
So I think those are like my biggest takeaways of being in a relationship for this long. But who knows? Maybe next time you see me, I will be engaged. We'll see. Yeah. And experimented with sex toys. Yeah, and with sex toys. I'm going to FaceTime you one day and be like, oh my God. Oh my
God. If she does, watch me next week, guys. I will update you guys on the podcast. But no, I think what you said is amazing. And I like, communication's always key, but you know, we wanted to make it known that it's okay to like, you know, question your relationship here and there if you've been with someone for so long. But also if you know, have grown apart and aren't the same people that you were when you were 15, 16, and you want a different life, guys, it's okay to make that decision and, you know, break up with your significant other. I'm not like saying stay content in the relationship that you are if you're unhappy, because please don't. But, you know, everyone has issues. The longer you're with that person, you know, the more interesting you're going to have to make the relationship, because it does get comfortable. It's effort. It's effort. But like you said, really listening, because I think, you know, with us females too, we're more emotional and we're quick to react. Yeah. I know I am sure. So it has something that I am working on is actually fully listening before, because I think for me, and like what you said, I want to react. What am I going to respond to him right away?
Oh yeah, right. You're like, that pisses me off. That's not true. I need to come back to you.
Yeah, but listening and really like just taking a moment instead of reacting, just really listening is really going to help out your relationship. But okay, guys, that's all the talk for relationships. I actually put a poll on Instagram of what people thought their pet peeves were. So I'm going to share mine first, and then we'll share Gabby's, and then we'll go into my phone and we'll talk about what other people said. I actually got quite a few, so I'm really excited to read them. So for me, okay, guys, I wrote down 5 that I like.
5? She said 1, 5.
Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, actually. 4. All right. So for me, the first one is people who drive Teslas. this is a recent one just because I feel like people who drive Teslas are idiots. Like, I think that because they think that they have this car that can drive, that they can just drive like assholes. And that's not the case. And it's just really frustrating. I swear, every time we pass a Tesla, they're on their phone or they're distracted or the car's going so slow, not even going speed limit. It's always been a mess. So I just have a thing against Teslas now. So, and people who drive Teslas. 2, people who are late. I'm just like, I'm not super punctual, but I try to be a super punctual person. So people who are late drive me insane. Except for my friends. I mean, they do drive me insane sometimes.
Because I was a little late coming here.
No, but people who are late, I tell my friends, I call them out all the time. I'm like, dude, you're fucking late. Can you not be late? Yeah. Because I just like, I think time is important. Everyone's time is just as valuable
especially
as
nowadays. You know, it's so hard to get together with people sometimes too. And like we all just have such busy lives.
Yeah.
So I get that.
So just being on time because, you know, my time is valuable and I, you know, think your time is valuable. So just being late drives me insane. Okay. This one's a new one too. Well, not new. I just realized that I have this one. Girls who record themselves crying.
Yeah. Like to just prop it up and just cry.
Why?
So
have you done this?
Okay, so I will say, like the other day, I was talking, and then all of a sudden, I started crying.
Okay, but
is
you were
that
talking.
Different?
No, that's different.
Okay,
I'm saying like putting your phone in the corner, and you're like in a corner crying. Like,
okay, yeah, no, I can't do that.
And you're not
because it's like, okay, wait, hold a minute, I'm crying right now, but let me just put it up for a second.
Yeah, like I just don't. I've never been like, oh, I'm like hysterically crying. I just record myself crying so I can think about this moment. I don't know. I just don't.
I think it depends on the intention that the girls are using it for. I know for me, like when I was documenting kind of like the hardships of, you know, entrepreneurship, there was hard times and I wanted to document it so that I could reflect back on it. To be like, okay, remember when it was a hard time, you pulled through. Okay. I can feel for that. Okay. But when it's like literally nonsense shit, then no.
Okay.
I can't feel for that.
I can feel for that too. Like if you are recording, like I can understand, like, if you are going through a hard-ass time and you're like, I know I'm going to come out of this and this is going to be great to look back at.
Like a reminder.
But I also just don't like it, I guess, for people who, like...
Just for social media.
Yeah, just for social media. Like, oh, I'm going to cry. Because I mean, you and I talked about this yesterday. Like, there's so many girls that are like, come on.
Come on.
Come on, girl. You're crying every day. Like, I just can't.
It's once in a while, that's okay. But like every day,
it's just too much.
Yeah.
And then my last one is, I hope I don't get ripped for this one, but breastfeeding in public.
Okay. I don't have a feeling about it. I don't feel any way about it. Oh. What bugs you about it?
I don't know. And I feel like, you know, sometimes I'm like, I have no room to talk because, you know, I post provocative shit on my page and I post half naked. But I just think, one, don't like it when girls breastfeed in public. Like, if they have like a blanket over them. Right. But like putting your titty out or like putting your titty out on Instagram too, it's like, it's not beautiful. Like, to me, like, it's not like you're not sharing this truly because it's so beautiful. Like, to me, it's like your intention is to show your titty. And I know it may not be that, but it just comes off as that. Yeah. Because for me personally, like, I don't see, like, if I had a child, if I was breastfeeding a child, I would find no need in posting my titty on my story and like breastfeeding him and like my nipple. Like, why?
Or like if it was like up to here or something, like if you saw a little bit of it, I guess it'd be different.
It'd be different. No, I'm saying like full on, like, nipple is showing, like the child, you could see the whole areola. I haven't seen that yet. I've seen it multiple times and I'm like, if it's such a beautiful moment, like that's something like, I don't know, like some things it's just like sacred personal things. And like, I'm just like, that's just, I don't know, guys. Please don't rip me.
It'll be interesting to see what people say.
Yeah, but I just don't. I know other people probably. I also have a thing about nipples. I don't like nipples.
Okay.
So maybe that's it too.
Could be. It could
I just don't like nipples.
Yeah.
I think it gross me out. Like, it's just.
Well, I think it's one thing to see just like a boob, but then it's one thing to see like a baby on the boob.
On the nipple.
You know, like it's different.
It's a different, like, yeah, it's different if it's like, you know, she's breastfeeding, you can't see anything except for like her cleavage. But when it's like the whole thing's out and like, it's just. I don't know. It just makes me uncomfortable.
Is it more of a pet peeve or is it more of just an uncomfortable?
It's probably like an uncomfortable. You're right.
Not I think so it's more of an uncomfortable.
Peeve, but I put that as a place for me. Hopefully, I'm hoping I'm not the only one that feels this way.
No, and I'm sure you're not.
There's other women that do feel this way, but I'm speaking about it. So if that's a disorder or something, please let me know because I didn't.
Nipple phobia.
Nipple phobia. And then I put one down for Chris. So my because I put what's your pet peeve also about your partner. And he doesn't do this anymore, but he used to when he had like garbage, like if he had like a water bottle or like whatever, he would place it in a corner in the kitchen.
Why?
And just pile up his garbage in the corner of the kitchen. And then with there being a garbage can, I'm like,
did that not drive you crazy?
It would drive me crazy. I'm like
he would add to that pile?
He would just add to that, like not weekly, just every day. Like he would add to that little pile and then at the end of the day, he'd throw it away. I'm like, why can't you just throw away the pile? Anyways, he doesn't do it anymore, thankfully, but he used to. And then I asked him what his pet peeve, I guess, for me was, and it's squeezing the toothpaste.
Oh, instead of like pushing it out?
I just
or rolling it,
you just squeeze.
You go right in the middle.
It's just, it just all,
So you waste all the ones like
we don't waste it because he ends up like rolling it.
But you're still like, I'll squeeze it.
I'll squeeze it. I don't know. I've always been that type of person, but he's just like, that's his biggest pet peeve for me. But anyways, what are yours? I didn't read yours.
So mine's all just on significant other, because I wasn't thinking about like other stuff. But I would say I have 3. Okay. And if he listens to this, he'll be like, holy shit, you just had to bring that up. Okay. Number 1 is toothpaste in the sink. Like, you know, when it falls off your toothpaste or something, he leaves it there and then it gets hard.
Wait, so he doesn't like rinse it down?
No, it's a little blob is still there.
Oh no, that would annoy the fuck out of me. Yeah.
So there's that. Crumbs like on the table, like after you have a cookie or something, and like not wiping it off, like it just stays there. Okay. It's like, really? And like same with like in the car, like if he's eating like something in the car, it's all over my seat after, and he doesn't brush it off. And I'm just like, damn, can we clean that up?
Yeah.
I get like my hair gets in the car and stuff, and like I was saying the other day to you guys, if I could, I'd bring a portable vacuum, but I can't. Yeah. So I can't do much there. But no, there's that. And then the third one would definitely be, you know, when there's a box for like your granola bars or water bottles or whatever, and someone leaves one. But with the whole box or the whole plastic.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, can you just take it out, put it on the counter, and then put it in the garbage? Like, why do we need this big-ass box and one granola bar? Like, why?
Oh my gosh, I love that you said that because that is so true. Like, I had like organized my whole pantry, take everything out of the box. Yeah. But there have been times where I'm like, there's one fucking water in this whole plastic thing. Why did you just take the water out and throw away the plastic? Like,
that's my biggest pet peeve. And once in a while, there will be an empty box in there. Why? Like, it kills me.
That is so funny. I'm sure a lot of girls are going to relate to that.
Oh my gosh. Kills me.
Okay. I'm just going to read a little bit of these. People that chew with their mouth open. I got that a lot. Yeah. I don't know who chews with their mouth open.
I think that's like, a lot of it, that's like gum too. Like people will chew gum with their mouth open.
I guess. Hair in the sink after shaving and stacks of dirty plates on a desk. Okay, this is Julia said this about her significant other, I think. Let's see, I just got yours. They don't like feet. Shouldn't you not kink shame? I guess. A wife leaves hair everywhere. I feel like that's me. That is 100%. So me.
Like, I'm good with the shower. Like, I'll clean it up after the shower.
Me too. Yeah.
But sometimes it just falls out.
I mean, I can't. I told you, I vacuum like every single day and there's like wads of hair. It's not like I purposely want my hair to fall out. You know what I mean? It just comes out. Oh my gosh. Girls are just like, how messy he is. Not putting the dishes away. When your partner watches the next episode or a new movie without
during
you
a show series,
together. Yes,
that can really start some tension for sure. Because then you're like together and you're like, oh, let's watch the next episode, and they're like, oh, I'm already 2 episodes ahead, and it's like, fuck, we're supposed to be watching this together. Yeah. This is a joint effort, not a whenever we have time. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, no, we try to always when we watch show together, we like watch it together. There was only one time where I watched ahead because. On you.
Have you ever lied? And you're like, oh, I've never watched this?
Yes, I lied about you. I watched the last episode because, I read it because I could not. The last episode? Because I wanted to watch it that night and he's like, no. And he just said no because he wanted to be stubborn and he didn't want to watch it. And I'm like, well, you know what? I'm going to look up the fucking ending. So I look at the ending the next day. I'm like all shocked. He put the toe in the pie. Oh my God. And he was like, how did you know that? And I was like, oh, and like, I was like, oh, fuck. I was like, oh, it's because
you let yourself out.
He was so upset. He's like, I feel so betrayed.
Okay, I can't believe you did the last episode. Like, I do like an in-between episode.
I had to. I couldn't sleep. I was like, I need to know what happens. Anyways, all right, let's see. when y'all both agree it was something you were gonna do together, I guess. Let's see. Oh, okay. Enjoying a night out and they're glued to their phone the whole time. Yes. And this is the guy's like, this is why I prefer Solitude.
No, and I think that's why, and I think everyone's kind of improved, like have been working on this, especially during the pandemic.
Yeah.
Is being so glued to our phones.
I agree.
I guess, but too, like what we were talking about, like when there's this, like when you're sitting at dinner and like you're not talking about anything, I guess naturally you would go for your phone.
Yeah.
But I think that's where we as humans need to be better at our communication skills as to what you do in those like dead times.
Yeah.
Instead of gravitating for your phone. So I get that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I get that because, I mean, that would be one of my biggest pet peeves too, especially with me too. Like, I do my best that if I'm around my friends, I'm not on my phone unless like it's during work hours and they kind of know that I have to post or whatever. But with me and Chris, what we found that helps is like if there's nothing to talk about at dinner, what we'll do is we'll watch a show on my phone together, even at dinner. And I'm like, people probably look, not like at a fancy restaurant, but like if we're at dinner together at a whatever restaurant and we have nothing to talk about, and we'll both like be like, oh, do you want to watch a show together? And we'll kind of watch it together. And, you know, that way he's not on his phone or I'm on my phone and we're just like sitting there in silence, you know, kind of thing. But it doesn't happen all the time, but it's a good way to like not feel like, it's a good way to feel like you're doing something together too.
Right.
You know?
I think that's the biggest thing is like you want to just feel like you're together or else it's like, why did we even come together?
Yeah,
right?
I agree. Let's see. When they don't give you a straight answer. Yeah, I guess.
That's annoying.
That would be very, very annoying.
The worst one is like, what do you want to eat? Oh, it's up to you. Oh, whatever. I'm cool with whatever. It's like, can you just tell me?
Can you tell me what?
Yeah. Like, I know you want something, so just say it.
And it's for me, it's like, when Chris is like, what do you want to eat? I'm like, always a fucking sandwich. But I know you don't want a sandwich, so can you just decide what you want to eat? Because you're not going to want to eat at the places that I want to eat.
Yeah.
So I have to say, like, I already know I have to say, like, a place that he wants to go to because, you know, there's no point. Okay. Leaving clothes on the floor.
Yeah. No.
I don't know. I don't do this. I do it in my closet, but not, like... in my room or anything. Yeah, I don't leave clothes on the floor.
I am pretty bad at putting my clean clothes away. Like I'll fold them and they'll literally sit there.
We've been like that sometimes. It'll take like if I'm like being like super picky, I'll put them up right away. If not, it'll take me like 2-3 days to put mine up. But
dirty clothes I don't leave on the floor. I put it in the hamper right away.
Yeah. I don't leave my dirty clothes on the floor. I don't know. I know like some people struggle with that. I've heard it before. We're like, she just leaves her clothes on the floor.
Yeah.
I can understand that that's kind of like a pet peeve because that would be a pet peeve of mine too.
I see socks on the floor every time.
Oh yeah.
Like just socks everywhere. And it's like, can you just
put them? Tell me if they're clean or dirty.
Yeah.
We can't do that because Fendi and Hermes will just go and run off with them.
Oh shit.
All right, we'll do a few more. Oh, when people wear their pajamas out in public.
I mean, this was a thing back in like junior high.
Yeah.
I mean, do you guys call it junior high in the States?
Yeah, like high school.
Yeah,
no,
like,
middle school.
Middle school, yeah. So
yeah.
that was like a thing in junior high. But now, I mean, sometimes though, I'm wearing things that I did wear to bed, but it doesn't look like it. But actual pajamas, I wouldn't wear that on public.
Yeah, no. I think the only times I've ever worn pajamas out is like if we've ran to the gas station.
Yeah. Or like going through a drive-thru or something middle of the night.
That's the only time, but not like out. No.
Yeah.
Even sometimes in some of my sweatpants, I'm like, Chris, can I go out like this? Because I'm like running to Kroger real quick, and he's like, no, absolutely not. I'm like, okay, all right, we won't do that. All right, we'll do a few more. Let's see. People that sing every song that comes on, even if it's on a commercial or something. Oh my God, that would be, I hate fucking musicals. So if someone sang all the time, I'd be like, bitch, shut the hell up.
No, whenever I'm like singing, obviously I'm not a good singer or anything. Chris is like, who sings that song? And I'm like, I name the artist. And like, he's like, okay, let them sing the song. Okay. All right.
Mouth breathers. Oh, my dad's a big mouth breather.
I don't know a lot of mouth breathers.
My dad literally sounds like that. My dad, what are you doing? Did you just come from inside? He's like, no, I'm putting on my shoes. I'm like, oh my God. I think that's just like also a little bit of health problems. But food stuck on their teeth. How can I tell them nicely? Well, I mean, I think you should tell them nicely.
I think you just tell them.
Like, hey, you have some food in your teeth. Like, hey, babe, go to the bathroom. You have some food in your teeth.
Because I'd actually hate if someone didn't tell me. And I'm walking around smiling and shit.
No.
And then it's like in your teeth.
It's embarrassing. Okay, let's see. Slamming the cabinet's door to let me sleep. I don't know who does that. Oh, I guess when their significant other wakes up early. When girls think that they know proper fitness gym stuff because of what they see on TikTok. Okay. All right.
That's another topic.
I know. Okay. All right. Okay, all right, let's see. When he sings super loud in the car while you're trying to listen to a song.
I'm telling you, just pull the whole, like, who sings this song?
When he asked the question a couple of times when you've already answered it.
Okay, I'm really bad at that.
I'm really bad at that too.
I'm sorry, can you say that?
Supposedly, Chris is like, you've already asked me this 3 times. I'm like, I don't genuinely
remember.
remember.
That's why now I'm like, okay, so I know I might have asked you this before, but let me ask you it one more time just in case.
Yeah.
I swear as I've gotten older, like my memory is just so bad.
Same. Some days we'll be in like with our friends and he's like, oh yeah, Jazzy asked me this and that. I'm like, what? No, I didn't. You're making this up. He's like, no.
Why are you lying?
I'm like, why are you lying? I get so mad. I'm like, why are you lying? This is the first time I've heard of it. He's like, we literally just talked about it. And I'm like, I don't fucking remember, dude. I know. Sometimes I'm still like, no, he's fucking lying. And he's like,
you still don't believe me at the end of the day.
I'm like, no, he's lying. Oh, wait, doesn't bring toilet paper out when he finishes.
Okay, this is another one. Speaking of toilet paper, when someone sees an empty little holder and they put the toilet paper just on it, but not like in it.
Oh,
you know,
okay,
they just leave it
Stack
there.
It on there. Yeah.
But like it was clearly empty. Just replace it.
Yeah. My biggest thing is I'm bad at knowing what side.
Over, under.
I'm
over.
So I think now it's over because I think of like a mustache and it's over. I know that's weird, but that's the only way that I was able to remember it. But anyways, okay, that's it for these guys because there's so many. Most of them are still like unorganized, like hairs in the sink, like chewing with their mouth open, things like that. But yeah, guys, thank you guys for those interesting ones because I got so many. I just read her farting thinking it's silent. Okay, guys. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. Gabby, thank you so much for being on.
Me.
Do you want to leave your IG handles and stuff?
Yeah, it's at Gabrielle T. Tongol, and then my business is at Assist Her Agency.
Yeah, and I'll leave them down in the description box for you guys. So thank you guys so much for listening. If you're watching, hello, and I'll see you guys next week.
Thank
Bye.
you.